Unhinged is a new film starring Russell Crowe, Karen Pistorius, and Gabriel Bateman, and tells the story of a woman who's having a bad day. She's going through a divorce, she's always running late, and she gets fired from her job. And then she gets in a road rage incident with a very unstable man who eventually makes her life a living hell. Movie theaters are back open. I could not be more grateful for it. I have missed sitting in a theater. It felt so good sitting back in that seat watching this movie. And quite honestly, that might have affected how I felt about this. I took a couple days to figure that out, and I'm still trying to figure out. But these are my thoughts on Unhinged. Trying to keep out the movie, sitting in the movie, but it just didn't work. But as you can see, I have a brand new setup full of a ton of movies and my ticket box full of all the movie tickets of all the movies I've seen in theater since 2014 up till now. And as you can see right up here, I have my Unhinged ticket that I put on my computer and printed out because obviously with a digital copy I can't exactly just throw it in the box at random. But that's besides the point. Let's get to Unhinged. Russell Crowe. This dude is eating up the scenery in every single scene he's in this movie. He's so downright terrifying and creepy that I honestly got shivers a couple times. The rest of the cast is also really good. I like Karen Pistorius, and Gabriel Bateman still proves to be one of the better child actors working today. This film is one of those fun B-movie thrillers that does keep you entertained. And yeah, I was very entertained throughout this film. It's dark, brutal, and honestly, there were a couple moments that made me jump back in my seat in shock. There's one car crash that really got me. There were a lot of scenes in this film that I really enjoyed. I thought they were pretty decently written and were very well executed. I will say though, there are plenty of plot holes and logical fallacies in this movie, mainly in the second half. There's one scene where they're in this diner and the unstable man does something really bad, and all the diner patrons are just like, oh my god, let me pull my phone out and get a video of this, instead of, being a normal person and calling for help. The police aren't doing, they're doing stuff, but his picture's on the news and they're not even tracking him that way. They're just going around for every call they have. And also, the woman's brother in one scene goes around the house with a knife instead of calling police after the guy breaks in because he's going after certain family and friends of her to make her life hell. But that bothered me how stupid some of these scenes were. And there are also a couple of plot holes where it was like, well, what happened to this guy or this guy? Because they never address it again, even near the end of the film after everything's wrapped up. While there are some logical fallacies about, well, why didn't you just do this and at this point instead of doing it at this point, or why would you just not do this? The writer of this film manages to find ways to comprehend for some of these fallacies with throwing in elements that make you go, oh, that's why you're not doing this. Like, for example, at the beginning of it, it's like, well, why wouldn't you just call the police? The guy took her phone, so that's basically why. And there's a few more events like that in the film where it's just like, oh, okay, so that's why you're not doing this, and okay, that works. There are also a few scenes of shaky cam in this film that, once again, did not work because shaky cam hardly ever works in a film. And there were a couple scenes of it, and I was just like, this kind of takes you away from the impact of this scene. Even though it's still a decently well shot scene, it's just, that really just took me out of it. I also wasn't a fan of the opening credits in this film. I thought they were just kind of pretentious and dumb. They were trying to convince you that road rage exists when clearly it exists. You don't need to have a full opening credits scene for it. But despite that and all the plot holes, this movie was still very entertaining. I had a lot of fun with it. My eyes were on the screen for most of the time. From the opening scene to the very end of this movie just never stops. It just keeps going. It does slow down maybe in a couple scenes, but it doesn't stay there very long. It immediately picks back up steam and just keeps going. And I was honestly on the edge of my seat a couple of times in anticipation of what was going to happen. This movie is still very entertaining. I had a lot of fun with it, and if you are going back to the theater, I do recommend it. I'm going to give Unhinged a 6.5 out of 10. I know a lot of people right now are apprehensive about going back to the theater, and that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and say, go back to the theater. I'm not, because I know a lot of people are worried about that. I know some people are just trying to take precaution right now, and that is perfectly okay. If you are one of those people, stay at home, do what you need to do. All right, but if you're not so worried, yeah, then sure, go back to the theater. I definitely enjoyed my time sitting there again, and I missed it dearly. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to more video reviews soon. I finally have my new setup and my camera work, so that way I can keep doing these more often. I got a Tenet and New Mutants video coming in the next couple weeks after I watch those, and then for the time being, there's still going to be a bunch of written ones in stories. But like, comment, tell me what you thought if you went to see this. Thank you so much for watching.